guys. So I don't know if you remember from like Christmas time, I mentioned that I was going to start a new series called Mom Jean Confessions. It actually is something that I have had as a blog series that I've written about for Garrett's 6, so probably 5 or 6 years now. I've been doing more video lately and I'm just feeling like that's been more of a natural way for me to get across to you guys, you know, what is going on in our life, my true feelings about motherhood and just everything in between. It's gonna be a lot of just life things that are going on, which is always going to include motherhood, or as I like to call it, mamahood. And I don't know, just things going on with work and balancing, all of that. Things have changed so much this past year. I started freelancing again. I finally got matched up with a company called We Are Rosie, and they just, I don't know, they just saw my experience and it was like they got it. They knew what kind of companies to pair me up with, what agencies would be a good fit. They would keep joking like, is there anything you're not a good fit for? And I'm like, well, I mean, I have a ton of experience. It just kind of runs the gamut whenever you work on the agency side. I don't know if y'all are familiar with how ad agencies work, but you're given a lot of responsibility from the very beginning. And I was in that world for like 10, 12 years. So it's been fun to kind of get back into it, but not the way that I traditionally worked with agencies, because I just couldn't do it anymore. I just, in my heart, once I had Garrett, I just felt like it was pulling me in the opposite direction that I wanted to be going in my life. It's just kind of that simple. I was sick, like I mentally was so messed up. I don't know a better word to say, that I was calling my boss and just saying like I couldn't go back to work for maternity leave unless things changed. And they tried their best, but like the traditional work, you know, setting is just not conducive to someone that wants to have that flexibility with their life and their children. Some companies are able to do it and some aren't, and it's no fault of theirs. Like if that's the way they're set up, that's the way. You can't keep fighting that battle, because it wears you down after a while. So, you know, I just accepted it. I tried hard to make it all work. And at the end of the day, when we decided to move here to Houston, I was like, you know what, Grant? My husband is very understanding and he wants my happiness. He just said, you know, I know you love blogging. I know you love marketing, and how can you make this work? Like, just, we got to figure it out for you. He's like, I don't want you to go back to that. So I didn't. I kind of jumped all in very reluctantly. I was scared. I blogged for a while when Garrett was young, and then I took a big hiatus whenever I was working full time, because I don't know, it was just hard to kind of balance it all. And then I picked it back up when we moved here, and since then I've just done it consistently. I figured out you have to learn the ins and outs. You have to just research the heck out of it, join Facebook groups, which I did, you know, find like-minded people that are doing what you're already doing, get mentors, like all those things. So I did all that and it really helped. Like it actually worked. I started figuring out how to work with brands in a different way than I was used to working with them. I was kind of in the driver's seat and it freaked me out a little bit. But I realized if I didn't jump on it, if I didn't take the opportunity now, there was never gonna be a better time. And my husband said the same thing to me. He's like, well, clearly this is what you wanna do. Let's make this work. So that has been like 3 years ago, 2 to 3 years ago. It was before Charlotte was born. I just will say, like, there are things that are just gonna always be a challenge, you know, like your time, managing your time when you have kids is insane. And a lot of times people agree that like just going to that traditional 9 to 5, like working out of the office is easier. I've done both. I will not just flat out say one is easier over the other, but I will say like you take for granted the fact that you can just like zone out in your cubicle or wherever you are. No one's bothering you, like other than people that come and ask you for things, that people who you work with that actually need stuff from you. But it's different when you're home and your 2-year-old is like wanting attention. You can't like be like, I'm sorry, mommy has to like do this. I mean, she's gotten easier. My kids are very independent players, I guess you could say. Like I'm lucky there. But I'll also say like screen time, I wish I was better at managing it, but honestly, it just becomes one of those things where it's like desperation mode. Here's the iPad or whatever, but you know, I feel like I still love the fact that I have the flexibility of like being involved with them. I can take them to school, pick them up, help other friends with their kids. Like you just know in your heart when something is working for you, fitting the way it's supposed to. It's awesome. And that's what I was able to experience this past year whenever I started a freelance job that was like, it worked, let's see, it was 7 months. And it was about 30 hours a week, give or take. And it was great. I was still able to do the blogging and all the content creation that I wanted to do in between the times, the down times, and when Charlotte's napping or whatever. Like I made it work, I figured it out. And I didn't know how to do that. So that contract job just ended. And I have big goals for my blog this year. Like big goals, like big scary goals, as they say. And in order to do that, I'm gonna have to find the right type of freelance job. Fingers crossed something comes through that is the right fit again. But I am glad and I'm grateful for this kind of downtime the past couple weeks. I've pulled away a little bit from social media and things. I didn't blog the past week or so just because I really try and use this time as a way to reflect and figure out, you know, what are my goals for this next year? Are they gonna be the same? Are they gonna, some of them might continue on, like video creation, things like that might, you know, evolve and continue on in a different direction. And then other ones I like to make, they're just completely new and scary, and I just wanna throw them out there into the universe to see what happens. Because anytime I've ever done that, I'm telling y'all, it just comes back to me in a way that like surprises me every time. It's exciting. And I just feel like this is one of those years where I have no idea what's gonna happen. I'm just kind of freaked out, but I like feeling that way, if that makes sense. Because it forces you to do those things that scare you. So just lots of different things on my mind, and I wanted to share that with y'all. It was hard to think about how to write this in a post or whatever. So I just thought I'd do a quick video. That turned out not to be so quick. I'm so sorry. If you sat here and let me ramble and remotely understood anything that I was trying to get across, then you must have been following me for a while, because you know how I like circumvent topics and talk about things randomly in my own way. So that is me. That is who you were dealing with here. This is why it's set up like a confessional, Mom Jean Confessions. Like it's just one of those things that I just feel like is gonna be helpful for me and hopefully helpful for others. Life is just never gonna be easy. There's always gonna be something. If it's not the kids, it's my health, and they're all sick. They've been sick for a couple days. I'm like, way to kick off the new year on a high note. Like, but it just makes me laugh, because I mean, so what? It's like a new year. In the end of the day, it doesn't change that much. It's just a nice way of being like, okay, clean slate. Let's start new with like our goals and how we envision life looking like for a year. So that's what I am trying to do right now. And thank you for letting me share a little bit of that whole process with you guys. Anyway, I just really feel strongly about being more open with you guys this year and confessing things that are on my mind and heavy on my heart. And hopefully it helps you in your journey in mamahood or whatever it is that you're going through. All right, bye.